Hey everybody, I'm Steve with DriveSRT.com. We're here inside the SRT Motorsports hospitality trailer at the 12 Hours of Sebring. Today we're going to be answering user questions based on the comments we got on the DriveSRT Twitter handle and also on the DriveSRT Facebook and Viper Facebook page. So we're going to kind of go around and talk to the drivers. We've got each of our 6 wonderful GTS-R Viper drivers with us today. We've also got Gary Johnson, who is manager of the race team, and also Beth Peretta, who is also head of marketing and motorsports for SRT. So the first question comes in is, we'll direct this one at Gary. So Gary, what does the GTS-R weigh, and how is that ideal weight achieved?
Well, the SRT is currently running at 2850 when it's unloaded, and then we've got a lot of lightweight components on it, like carbon fiber body panels that are very lightweight wheels, things like that. Even though the car is actually bigger than a production car, the weight is less.
Excellent, thank you. What is it like to have so many different classes on track at the same time in ALMS competition?
Well, it's one of those things, unless you know what's going on, it can be confusing to watch, but once you do know, it makes for exciting racing, because in addition to the battle within the class, traffic really proposes a challenge for the drivers, and as a spectator, I'm sure that the people here at Sebring and the people watching at home, it adds an extra element to just the excitement of the racing itself.
Kuno, how do you as a driver prepare for a 12-hour race compared to a shorter sprint race?
Well, I mean, every driver has their own routine as how they prepare and all that. I mean, many drivers, train differently. They eat differently for maybe a long distance race versus a shorter race. I, for myself, do a lot of endurance training, a lot for the heart, a lot for the legs, for the muscles, and definitely change up my diet about a week or two before.
Awesome. Let's see, Gary, another one coming at you. What major series advancements have been made since the last time Viper raced in ALMS?
About a third of the cost of the car is actually in the electronics section, so it's a big part of the car now, and it's probably the biggest thing that's changed since 20 years ago.
Interesting. Dominic, the Viper is often described as being a handful and almost too much to handle on the street. What can you say about the GTS-R and its drivability on track?
I mean, it's like a real race car. It really drives fantastic, and I can just say that it's really a good handling car, and I'm comfortable driving it, and I'm sure everybody else is too.
Cool. Beth, another one coming at you. How does the GTS-R stack up against the competition?
Well, we'll see that on Saturday, won't we?
Good answer. Mr. DL, what was your first thought when you saw the GTS-R, and what were your first driving impressions?
For me, it's probably the biggest car I've ever sat in. It's quite the monster, especially coming from things without roofs the past couple of years. So for me, I think it was the biggest thing, but actually it behaves very well. So that was refreshing to get in a car that's very intimidating to look at, but not so intimidating to drive. Hopefully, it's intimidating to the others.
Gary, what is the biggest challenge for the GTS-R, seeing as how it has a heavily restricted 8-liter compared to the rest of the engines in the field?
Well, actually, having a big displacement engine is really helpful here. Even though we are restricted very low, we've got an extremely flat torque curve, and that helps drivability of the car through the racetrack.
Mr. Kendall, what went through your mind when you were asked to become a part of this team?
I couldn't believe it, to be quite honest. People have asked me, would I ever drive again? And I said, well, my standards haven't fallen. I'm enjoying what else I'm doing, so I'm really not out looking. So something fantastic would have to literally fall out of the sky, and lo and behold, it did. So when Bill Riley called and said, would you actually be interested in driving this? I said, usually I give him a qualified yes, because I want to know what the program's about. Relative to the standards, I knew a lot about it. So I said, yes. I said, I need to get in shape, and I'm not sure how I'll test, but let's give it a shot.
Well, glad to have you.
Thanks.
Beth, what is the expected outcome for this race and goals for the season?
For this race, this is our first time racing this car with this team at Sebring. So we really want to just finish. I mean, the first 2/3 of this season we started at the very end of 2012. So these tracks we haven't been to yet with this car and this team. We are certainly running both cars for points the entire year. So we hope to do well and hopefully, before long get on the podium.
Excellent, Mr. Bomarito. This is an interesting question.
You mean at J Bomarito?
Yeah. So what is the gas, brake, and clutch pedal setup in the car as compared to a street car?
Well, I mean, you still have a gas, brake, and a clutch. No, but you have, the pedals are just a little bit more firm. So in particular, the biggest difference is the brake pedal. It's not power assisted, so it takes a lot more brake pressure to get the car slowed down, but the car slows down incredibly well. It just takes a little bit more pressure.
Cool. Gary, what advantages does the GTS-R have compared to the field?
The advantages of the GTS-R, I think, are going to be we're going to be really good with aero, downforce. Of course, the V10 engine, big displacement engine, is good for a very flat torque curve. So that's the kind of thing that's going to be really good for the car.
Kuno,
Yeah,
what do you as drivers do between shifts? And also, how do you best handle fatigue?
Well, fatigue is definitely one of the biggest things you encounter, especially throughout the middle to the end of the race. So at a 12-hour event like this, you try in between your shifts to get a lot of hydration down into your body, a lot of nutrition, and luckily this weekend we have a physiotherapist with us, which can tweak our body a little bit as well. So that's all like little benefits that every driver could want.
Go.
Tommy, what goes through your head while you're out there on the track?
Some would say nothing. I mean, you're just focused. You try to make a lot of it as second nature as possible. That was one of the things I had to work with. All the electronics, the digital steering wheels were new to me. So getting so those are second nature is you don't want to be thinking about that kind of stuff. So it's literally just basically what you're trying to do. What the car is telling you in terms of keeping up, making adjustments when you drive, but brake points, turn-in points, that kind of stuff. Traffic is a big thing. It used to be in endurance races you could sort of be prudent overtaking and the guys behind would be a little more patient, the prototypes. Those days are over. So letting them through and getting through traffic, losing the least amount of time is probably the biggest thing.
Mark, what kind of conversations are being had between drivers and the crew during the race?
Well, during the race, obviously the crew is helping us if they know that fast traffic is coming up at us or that kind of stuff. So it makes life a little bit easier for us if we get a good guy calling the race over the radio. Between the drivers, I mean, basically whenever I get out of the car, the driver changes happen so quickly, so the next driver, you're not going to give him that much information, but the engineers could. But then the third driver gets all the info from how the car is behaving on track and how bad or good the track is. So all the changing conditions is something that we communicate about for the next guy to go in.
Jonathan, how hot does it get inside the cabin, and what do you do to stay cool in there?
It gets pretty hot inside the car. We do have, they are regulated on the temperature, so we have some AC, some airflow, which helps a lot. We have a drink bottle so you can stay hydrated. You do sweat a lot though. You get out of the car, you're pretty much wringing wet. So it's hot. So all you do is just stay hydrated and get through it and try to rehydrate when you get out of the car.
All right. Ryan, how long are the driver stints and how is the order determined?
The order generally can vary. We'll figure that out probably closer to the race, but a general fuel stint is anywhere between 55 minutes, an hour and 15, depending on really what your fuel consumption is and also really what the traffic and the yellows and how things fall. It's too early to kind of determine whether we're going to do double stints at this point, but we don't want to give too many secrets away.
Makes sense. Dominic, last question for the round table here. Describe your racing style.
My racing style. Well, my racing style is, I think, quite similar to the others because we all try to do our best. We all try to work together, and I'm trying to drive also for my teammate, not only for myself, because we win together. That's our goal. So my driving style is basically I try to bring the car home in one piece and give my my next driver the best car possible.
Excellent. Thank you, gentlemen, for joining us today, and good luck on Saturday.
Thank you. Thank you.